Hi again, Gregg of the News Tribune inside giant Jerry Jones Dome. It's gigantic in here. You could probably fit 3 or 4 CenturyLink fields in here. Seahawks tonight in the NFC wildcard round against the Cowboys. Dallas has won 7 of 8. They're a much different team, as we've talked all week, than they were on September 23rd when they played up in Seattle. The Seahawks won that game 24-13, but Dak Prescott did not have Amari Cooper, which he has now. The Cowboys made the trade with the Raiders, a first-round pick, to get the game-breaking wide receiver a month after that game at CenturyLink Field. So even though Ezekiel Elliott had 127 yards in that game, the Cowboys didn't do anything offensively because they didn't have a complementary downfield passing threat. Different task tonight for the Seahawks on defense. I don't think they're going to get away with Bradley McDougald, the strong safety, playing up near the line of scrimmage, 8 or 9 in the box, as they have in the previous 3 times playing Dallas. Stopping Elliott's not the only task tonight. It's the first task, but not the only one. Look for the Cowboys to do the same thing that the Seahawks want to do, establish the run early. The Seahawks will do it with Chris Carson. You're probably going to see 10 runs in the first 12, 14 plays, as it's been the last 3 months with Brian Schottenheimer's play calling, to set up play-action passing in Russell Wilson to give the Seahawks offensive line a better chance to pass protect against Dallas's formidable pass rush. DeMarcus Lawrence against Germain Ifedi, the Seahawks right tackle, will be a matchup to watch. The Cowboys will, as I said, want to do the same thing, establish Elliott early and set up play-action passing with Dak Prescott down the field to Amari Cooper later in the game. So the Seahawks task tonight on defense is much different than it was in September. Pre-game news I'm looking at: J.R. Sweezy is going to be out here on the field in a little bit to test the sprained arch in his foot. Pete Carroll said that was a 3 to 4 week injury that Sweezy's trying to get back in 2 weeks from. I talked to Sweezy briefly during the week. He said he's fine. He's much better this week than last, when he missed the regular season finale against Arizona. I think once he tested on the field here in a little bit, they're going to have to pry him off the field with a crowbar and some dog teams and everything else. They're not going to get him off the field. He didn't know when he went to Tampa Bay for 2 lost years with that free agent contract that he'd ever get a chance at the playoffs again. And here he is, a Pro Bowl alternate with a chance to start at left guard tonight for the Seahawks. So I think he's going to try to start. We'll see how long he can play. Ethan Posick is ready to play at left guard if Sweezy cannot. But the return on the right side of DJ Fluker to the right guard position puts Germain Ifedi back at right tackle. That also puts George Fant, who was the right tackle last week when Ifedi played right guard and Fluker didn't play because of the hamstring. Fant will now be back to his normal role as the extra offensive lineman / tight end, the 6th offensive lineman that the Seahawks use as much as a quarter of a time. That's going to help the run game as well. They didn't have Fant in that role last week. It's going to be a wild night. I think it's really going to come down to Russell Wilson against Dak Prescott in the 4th quarter. I think both teams are going to establish the run successfully enough to set up basically a pass-off in the 4th quarter between Wilson and Prescott. And I like the Seahawks' chances in that. This is the 13th postseason start for Russell Wilson tonight. He's 8-4, 2 Super Bowls, 1 ring. You know the story, the winningest quarterback in the NFL in his first 7 years. Against Prescott, who has yet to win a playoff game and has only started 1. That was 2 Januaries ago in Green Bay. Jason Garrett, the Cowboys coach, has won just 1 playoff game in his 8 seasons in Dallas. All my coverage is on thenewstribune.com. As always, that's G-Bell Seattle on Twitter. Looking forward to a fun night with the second round of the NFC playoffs at stake.